Hello friends, it's Candence and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about this Captain America tattoo I did. Now, I'm just going to get it started because I tried filming this a couple times and I didn't edit it down to be short enough, but whatever. So we're going to start this in the background and then we'll talk about it. So if you haven't seen some of my earlier videos, definitely go check them out. No, I'm just confused. If you haven't seen some of my earlier videos, definitely go check it out. I tattooed also, you can see a little bit that I tattooed the Hulk on, this is like a lower leg sleeve for his kids. So my client wanted the Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, and Elsa. He didn't care where they were or sort of how they were arranged. I don't know if he was fully expecting like a fully filled out lower leg sleeve, like, I don't know. Because I was offering like a bit of a deal so I could have some creative freedom. So I was definitely super happy to be able to do this tattoo. But yeah, so this is the last character. So if you want to see any other, if you like comic books especially, definitely check out the Hulk and Iron Man. Now I'm still not done this tattoo. He wasn't, wait, what? Basically, he went back to work, and so I'm just waiting for him to book in again whenever he has time. But it's good, maybe he'll let it settle in during the summer and come back. I kind of like that in a way, because then we can see how things heal, how the colors heal. You don't always get a chance as a tattoo artist to see your stuff healing, so this project was really fun because he was kind of coming in every other week or like every 2 weeks. So it was cool to be able to see the tattoos like in their healing progress and like all that stuff. But yeah, so this was the last character. It was on the inside of the leg. Some of the other characters, I think for Elsa, I did a lot more of the background because by the point I got to Elsa, I definitely fleshed out the concept a little bit more. It's kind of a challenge to come up with a whole concept for a leg sleeve all at once that can like stencil on all at once. At least for me, like I'm only a few years in. I'm sure some people have a complete science about like stenciling a whole lower leg at once. But the way I usually stencil things is like piecing it together anyway. I'm actually going to film a tattoo talk through later about, it's just like sunflowers with leaves and stuff. You'll probably see that in the next couple weeks, but basically usually how like my brain works with tattoos, and you know, every tattoo artist is different, so I don't think there's a right or a wrong way, but I usually, for instance, if it was flowers, I would get the flowers that I want and piece that around and then build off of that. So if we're doing like a really big, like if we're doing your whole leg with flowers, at least the way my brain works right now, I'm probably gonna ask you what the main flowers are, whatever, and then we'll probably stencil on and tattoo the bigger stuff first, because I want to make sure that my focal points are where I want them to be and that the flow is gonna be right. And then for flowers, things like that, then I'll go in and maybe I'll stencil the leaves or I'll just draw the leaves on. Like I basically like layer the stenciling process. So this was no different. I kind of thought up of a plan before we started the Hulk. The Hulk was the first one we did. I came up with a plan beforehand, but it was a little bit more like, wait, my brain stopped. I came up with a plan beforehand, but it wasn't fully fleshed out. I knew I wasn't gonna get to the background by then, so I wasn't really too concerned about like spending hours and hours drawing a fully fleshed out lower leg sleeve. I got like a basic concept, like my initial sketch, but I knew we probably wouldn't have time anyway. I was open to keep going, but I'm like, the back of the leg kind of sucks. I assumed that the characters, because of the size of the characters, I knew it would take me a certain amount of time, like 5-ish hours or so, which it ended up doing. I don't usually tattoo beyond like 5 to 7 hours in a day. So I wasn't too mad that my background wasn't fully fleshed out because I was getting my references together before the first appointment, and I was getting my general idea and like spatially where I would want things. And then you could probably see as I was talking throughout the other tattoos that like every appointment it slowly progressed a little bit more. I got more ideas as I was doing it. So if you can see Captain America right now, he has a background of like crackles or whatever, like something's being destroyed or something. It's kind of a little bit more, the whole concept of the tattoo doesn't have like a story to go with it, but it's just the concepts of like of each character and kind of meshing them together in more of like maybe more of a collage, like a seamless collage. I feel like, I don't know how I would describe my artwork, but maybe something like that, like layering things and figuring things out, finding connections between things that you might not think would get connected. So Captain America has this crackly like look in the background, like something's having been destroyed. Those cracks are sort of coming from the Hulk in the background. He's got his fist down. There's like a big split down the back of the leg. Not like his leg, but like in the design. So there's crackles and it's broken off. If you see Elsa's design, you can probably kind of see the edge where it's like maybe something got broken, like Hulk smashed something. But it's not to say that Captain America is saving the day from Hulk smashing things. But then when we turn to this inner part of the leg, it's mostly Captain America. So his background is going to be like stars. It's going to be kind of American flaggy. So the concept on this side of the leg is sort of like, I don't know. This is what's in my head. It doesn't, I feel like art, you can apply any meaning to most of the time. But so my concept was there's going to be stars and like the American flag like swooping in the background, and these crackles in the background aren't like the Hulk destroying America, but it's sort of like America in peril. I don't know, what does Captain America do? He saves the day, so if America is crumbling or something, that seems like something Captain America. I don't know, something like that. Not to say America's crumbling, but let's not talk about that. But yeah, so these crackles are like, it's sort of like Captain America's call to action, maybe? Like, it's like part of his scene. And then he's up there like working with he's working with all the other characters. They're all working to save the day. But yeah, so the way I layered, you can see the crackle background on the back of his leg here, even though I'm covering it a little bit. And then you can see the snowflakes in Elsa. I felt like I wanted to make them kind of look like smashed glass, or like if the Hulk smashed some ice or something. Just like a shattery thing, like, I don't know, Hulk smashes things and makes rubble, so there's just broken things, kind of. And then, okay, so we're turned away from it now, but you saw it that whole other time, the crackles going up towards Iron Man. They sort of connect to Iron Man's lightning, and that's not like the Hulk or the lightning is causing the crackles, but it's a little bit more like, it's a little bit more for the, like, the collage-y, like, purpose of it. So when you're looking at Iron Man, even though that, like, maybe the American flag on the bottom doesn't necessarily go with Iron Man, the design is connected and it's, like, it's blended, so those lightning bolts are sort of, the lightning bolts aren't coming from Iron Man, they're just in the background in the sky, like turmoil or something, right? Like what? But so, like, maybe they do kind of mean the same thing, but it doesn't mean any of them are necessarily causing it. I don't know. Except the Hulk. I literally, listen, I just, like, I have ideas and they come together and I swear it's good ideas. But yeah, so I really liked being able to, like, come up with how the lightning would come in with the crackles, and then once, you know, I'm just doing like black and gray shading right now. I figured I probably wouldn't be able to do this much surface area in one day. I was going to try if he was down to sit, depending on the time. We only did, I mean, you'll see in the next Captain America video, you'll see how far we got for this appointment. I think we got pretty far, but we didn't get as much of the background done as we could. because for this crackly background, I had to draw it on. I did draw a like something that could stencil, but his leg is just bigger than, I have like a form on my iPad, not a form. I have like a template, like body parts. So I was drawing on body parts to get the idea of the placement. But so my original drawing, it was just smaller than his leg. But I also kind of like just drawing straight on the body for a lot of these background elements anyway, because they're background elements, they're not extremely important. And then you can really customize the fit to the body. So I made these crackles and I drew them like specifically to match the lightning bolt. But yeah, so I figured I would just like black outline the cracks in the like ground or whatever this background is behind Captain America, and then do some shading so it's like having a 3D effect. Now I didn't add any white or anything, so it's definitely gonna look a lot cooler and pop more once all the colors laid in there. But I did give it a pretty good base. The concept's a little bit more fleshed out, and then whenever we get to finish it, it shouldn't be too complicated to finish it out, like maybe 1 or 2 more appointments. Depends how long we can sit. There's not too much to draw on anymore, I don't think. Knock on wood. Oh, you probably heard that. But yeah, so I'm just shading, like, if you want to know, I guess I could say the needle sizes. I didn't say it in this video. I said it in all the other videos. I'm not necessarily trying to teach people how to tattoo. I just want to talk about tattoos and talk about my ideas. So I'm down to tell you like needle weights and stuff like that, but I'm very much, who am I to tell people how to tattoo? So I don't fully feel comfortable right now being like an authority of like teaching people how to tattoo, even though I would say I do have a lot of knowledge compared to like maybe some careless tattoo artists out there. But yeah, I used a bug pin 18 round liner for the thicker outlines. This is just the same as I did for all these other characters. So if you look at any of those other videos, I may have talked about it a little bit more. I may have talked about my process a little bit more. So definitely, if you're feeling like I'm not describing what I'm doing as much as you would wish, check out one of those videos. I'm definitely kind of like, I talk about my process of like how to tattoo sometimes, and sometimes I just talk about my ideas of like why I'm doing anything. But before the video ends, let me tell you, the 18 round bug pin 18 round liner for the outside, we want a bolder, thicker line to stand boldly against the thinner lines and to stand out against the background a little bit more. I don't usually go very thick at all with my lines. People say bold will hold, but I like to say bold will bold, and both can be true in some capacity. So these lines, over time, they're going to blur. They don't need to be much thicker, in my opinion. So after that, I think for Captain America's scales, I think I used a bug pin 3 round liner. I don't think I used a bug pin 3 round liner for any of the other characters except for Elsa's face, just because her face is a little bit prettier, a little bit more, I wanted to have a little bit more control over where the ink was going than a thicker line. But most of the other lining I did with a bug pin 5 round liner, just to get those small details, like any of the thicker lines in the face that aren't like bold. But you can probably see that like the chin, I can't even see, my screen's so little. The chin, like the head's out a little bit, plus there's going to be a little bit of shading under the chin. Actually, I don't remember. Under the chin is always a little bit darker, so for all the characters, I gave them a bolder head outline, because that's more of a focal point. And any of the outlines that are like a body parts over, I tried to give that a bolder outline because it's standing out in front of the background, so it's going to be a little bit bolder. If anything, you could even go with like an even bolder outline for something like Hulk's fist. If it was coming out a little bit more, I could do an even bolder outline. It would maybe be a more successful effect. I don't necessarily think it needs it. But I was thinking once I finished this tattoo, well, I didn't get to finish the bottom at all anyway, like I said. Well, the lines and shading are done. But like I said, I didn't get to finish the color, I didn't get to finish all the background that I wanted in general. But I did think once I was done with this whole tattoo, you can see the like finished Captain America itself. The background didn't get a lot of color, a lot more color added to it. But you can see the finished Captain America in the next tattoo talk through I post. But I was looking at it and I'm like, I think when I finish out the bottom of like that area, like where the flames are and stuff, I think I'm gonna bolden up his shield a little bit. I might, as I go through and finish out the background and touch up anything that needs to be touched up in the colors, I might find things that I want to make a little bit bolder. But so I think the shield, I'm definitely gonna make a little bit of a bolder outline so it looks like it's like more forward. But it's gonna be a dark background anyway, so it won't look like, it's not gonna stand out, but I think it would look cool. But anyway, and then the technique was just, in this video anyway, I stipple shaded, I believe, with the bug pin 5-round liner. I'm so weird. Definitely check out the other characters. Stay tuned for the color of this video. If you don't like how my head kept getting in the way or like the blurriness, I started editing out everything that wasn't in focus for the tattoo talk through. So most of the other videos, not the other characters, I'm sorry if you were interested in these characters, but I'm doing a Danny Phantom video next after this one that I did edit down. So the tattoo talk throughs from here on out are all going to be edited down so that you don't have to suffer through the parts where it's out of focus. You don't have to suffer through too many parts where my head's in the way. Now sometimes I'm bad at filming, so my head is kind of in the way, but there's not a lot in focus. So, but future videos after this, tattoo talk throughs are going to be, maybe, except for the next Captain America video, but they're going to be a little bit more streamlined, hopefully a little bit more enjoyable to watch, since it's not just fast forward. That's the other thing. I was fast forwarding these videos, like this Captain America video. Most of my other future videos of like tattoo talk throughs are going to be edited down so that they're not more than like, I don't know, I haven't done one more than like 1.25 speed at this point, so it's still pretty accurate to like real time in terms of how long the line takes to like pull a line, but we're not leaving in the blurry parts, we're not leaving in as much of the redundancies as before. But yeah, I've been rambling for a while. Definitely let me know if you have any input of how you would like to see these videos edited. I feel like every time I film a batch of these videos, it's easy to accumulate a lot at once, but I feel like every time I film a batch of videos, I'm changing everything. I only started filming these videos in March or something, and I'm a little bit of a slacker, so it's just so much work, so I procrastinate. It's so bad. But anyway, definitely stay tuned for more videos. Definitely comment down below. Let me know what you'd like to see next. Check out my website, chromaticsauce.com, to see some of my tattoos, and if you want to book an appointment, definitely feel free. I'd love to do anything like this. I do fine line, I do black and gray, anything you want. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I love you. See you in the next one. Bye!